The Borderlands movie is finally out, and Jiminy Christmas, it's atrocious. It doesn't matter your take on the Borderlands series, if you love the games, if you hate the games, if you see this movie, you will hate it. It is just bad across the board regardless of your taste. I am stunned by how bad it actually is. I didn't have the highest hopes for it, but you have to try really hard to make a movie this terrible. So I went last night to see it with a bunch of my friends. We were 10 heads deep to see the Borderlands movie because this is one of those special stinkers that had a lot of hype. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes when it debuted. A 3 from IGN, which is unheard of. IGN gives fucking anything a 5. If they watched an hour and a half of the peanut butter jelly time banana gif going back and forth, they'd probably rate that a 5. And they gave this a 3. So we knew that this was going to be something impressively bad. But I don't think any of us expected just how boring, lame, and just downright nauseatingly, insultingly worthless this film is. I have nothing good to say about it. I'm going to go ahead and play clips from when we were kind of debriefing after witnessing this war crime, but I'm going to speedrun like the basics. I'm not even going to bother talking about how unrecognizable this movie is from the source material. It doesn't even bother to try and be a comedy. Like, I think the Borderlands humor hasn't aged super well, but I still like Borderlands 1 and 2 a lot. I don't like 3 or any of the games that followed, but I really like 1 and 2. And I thought, bare minimum, this would be trying to take that DNA of that humor and put it in this movie. It doesn't. There's like almost no comedic moments in this film at all, except for Jack Black doing his best to try and make Claptrap entertaining. He's like the only one putting any kind of soul into this at all. Everything else is like the most flat NPC shit ever. It felt like everyone in this movie just didn't want to be there at all, except for Jack Black, who was at least trying. But I'm not even going to talk about how different this is from the Borderlands source material. I just want to talk about how bad it is just from a movie perspective. This movie had an over $100 million budget, and I don't know where the fuck that went. They need to be investigated for money laundering because there is some fishiness afoot here. Something has gone awry. The movie looks horrible. Like, visually, it is bad. Claptrap is, like, the only thing that looks pretty good, and apparently they didn't even credit some of the people that worked on Claptrap. There's quite a bit of controversy around that right now. And Claptrap is the only thing that actually looks consistently decent. All of the action, it's like you stick your head into a fucking washing machine that's going through, like, a rapid cycle. You can't tell what's happening with the action because there's no choreography. The camera's doing this, like they're playing Beat Saber with the camera. It's terrible. The action, they don't even use the core component of Borderlands, which is the guns. The guns aren't here. They only use like the most basic guns, which is an assault rifle and a pistol. Now they do have the infinity pistol, but they don't explore that being cool at all. It's fundamentally still just a normal pistol in this movie. They don't do anything cool with the guns or anything. I know I said I'd not like talk about how different it is from the IP, but I think it's important to mention this for the action. The guns basically are non-existent here. Don't even go into this thinking that that's going to play a role, because they don't. All of the action is, for the most part, shoot, shake the camera a lot when someone's doing like melee, hand-to-hand, close quarters combat, and then go to the next scene. And it's all so meaningless. There is, at no point in this film, any resistance, per se. Everything goes exactly how it needs to, without any like emotional stakes, without any kind of like actual obstacles. They forgot like a core component of the film is something that needs to be overcome. You know, like this big moment doesn't exist here. Everything is just this fucking cakewalk with characters that seem actually bored. Every character seems truly miserable to be acting in the film. And I don't blame them, because the material they were given was 100% spit out by ChatGPT. I'm tired of using that criticism, but it's becoming so apparent when AI is used here, and I am confident that all of the attempts at comedy were AI-generated jokes. I wrote down a couple of them, and you'll see that in the debriefing, but they used some of the most cliche lines we've all heard a million times unironically in this movie. It's so baffling that this actually hit the big screen. There is not a single audience I could imagine latching onto this and liking it. Fans of the game are going to hate it. Fans of movies are going to hate it because the movie's shit. they're like the only people that might like it is masochists, perhaps. I love bad movies, and this is not a bad movie that's enjoyable. It's truly awful to sit through. There is nothing fun about it. There's no charm. There's no anything. It's just actually so empty. It can't even tell its own story cohesively. This feels like Randy Pitchford had a wet dream and then pieced together this movie based off the little fragments he could remember about it. It is like nothing works and nothing is actually cohesive. So the story it tells horribly because it's so abrupt, changing things all the time or having like really convenient moments or just completely useless moments. Like you could probably cut out 40 minutes of this film, and it's not a long movie, it's only like an hour 20, but you could comfortably, I think, cut out 40 minutes and nothing changes. The movie plays out exactly the same. It's just very, very bad. So here, I'm gonna play clips from when we were debriefing. We saw Borderlands. The hype was there. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes debut, 3 from IGN, which is very rare. That means it almost doesn't function for IGN to go that low. And they were generous. Yeah, that movie super sucks. Temperature, how's everyone feeling?
I want to die.
I'm maybe the biggest Borderlands fan that I know, and that made me hate the franchise.
Yep, that sounds
which
about
makes
right.
me very sad.
Aaron's puking in the bathroom. Danny slept through.
I was telling them, I have literally never in my life fallen asleep in a movie theater before until this movie. I slept for maybe an hour of the hour and 20 minutes at that runtime.
So
That was truly the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
And not fun bad either.
No, it was very
not
just
fun bad
actually bad.
So I took notes. And that's rare. Usually I reserve this for only the biggest stinkers. I think comfortably that's the worst movie of the year. It's worse than Tarot. So when Danny fell asleep, I made a timestamp mark when I noticed. You fell asleep about 24 minutes into the film.
That sounds all right, yep.
Good.
And I honestly think that you experienced it the best. Like, I think if you're forced to go see Borderlands, you did the right thing and just slept through most of it. Because it is insufferably bad. So let's talk about what makes it so bad, huh, guys? What makes it so bad? I think for $110 million, they made a CW movie.
Yeah.
That movie visually is irredeemable. It
That's
looks like
actually extremely offensive to CW.
The set dressing looked like it was all made of plastic.
Set dressing?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. It was like fucking Party City. They walked in and they were like, let's put up streamers, I guess.
I did not know CGI in today's world could be that bad.
And it's not even I always say this, it's not the VFX team, like lack of talent, it's lack of time.
Yes.
That looks like they forced it out as quickly as they could. And it is incomplete.
No, at the end when they showed the big cat, not to spoil it, when they showed the canyon that they go to get to the vault, it actually looks like they just ultra keyed out like the background and they put in, they were like, this is the rest of the canyon back here.
And all of it, like, I never want to be that person who's like, oh, it's not true to the games kind of thing. But like, the simplest things were not true to the game. One, having a 50-year-old actor play Lilith made no sense.
What?
Yeah, the mother is this fucking linchpin character for the plot, doesn't have a name, is on screen for maybe less than a minute. Like,
Foxy, who keeps saying that,
is younger. She is younger than Lilith.
Kate Blanchett. Like,
which doesn't make sense.
and also,
it doesn't connect.
who fucking cares about spoilers at this point? Lilith, towards the end, it's like, oh my god, I'm chosen. I'm a siren. And she learns it, which in the time frame of who's in the movie makes no sense at all. Like, it doesn't add up.
It's fucking insane.
But it led to some really cool moments where when she realizes she's the chosen one, she sprouts wings and she just does this a lot.
Floating in air like
And giving
this.
people force fields.
She gives them like Destiny 2 buffs for a second.
Yeah, that was
She was like an ultimate.
We haven't even gotten into the dialogue.
Yeah, so
Which
That movie, we were in the Uber back talking about how it was like they ADR'd the entire movie.
Yeah.
I think the ADR, they just recorded a table read from when they were first reading the script.
Right?
Yeah.
No, the guy playing Krieg, they didn't even tell the actor in the costume to go like shake your head up and down so maybe.
No, he was stone cold, like solid the whole time. Even when his voice lines were going.
I wrote down a couple of my favorites because it does feel like I hate to use this because it's overused now as a criticism, but it really does feel like it was all AI generated. So it feels derivative of everything that's ever come before it. Unironically, these were some of the lines used. I'm too old for this shit. You in what army?
The one right behind
The
me.
one right behind me.
Oh!
Wait, where'd my other ones go? Oh, yeah. It's a shame your mother's not here to see this. Reminding her that her mother's
They
dead.
probably said that 18 times
Yeah.
in the whole movie.
At least.
Wait, the absolute best one is where she goes.
Oh, yeah.
So your dad is so and so, right? And she goes, yes and no. And then she goes, it wasn't a yes or no question. And it's like, bitch, yes it
That's
was.
literally a yes or no
Is
question.
this your dad? Yes or no? That wasn't a yes or no question. I got mad.
I told them in the Danny and Matt on the Uber back. I was like, I think they weren't allowed to make new words for this movie, so they had a bunch of scripts around, and they were kind of mad-libbing lines from
It's like
them.
a Zodiac killer. Like,
Yeah,
yes.
like they were
Yeah.
piece lines.
Yeah.
Also, I think that scene, the only thing I could possibly explain it is they had a bunch of different drafts of the script, and they were taking bits and pieces, but they never went back and double checked to see if anything contradicted. So they were just like, okay, here's the movie. I think we have an hour and a half.
Is they had all of this budget and they spent it on Kevin Hart, Kate Blanchett,
Jack Black.
and Jack Black,
Yeah.
and nothing else.
No, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Jamie Lee
Jamie Lee
Curtis.
Curtis.
And Jamie
Oh,
Lee Curtis.
Tannis being 85 for no fucking reason.
And
Absolutely.
a fucking, like, afraid of everything pussy baby? That is not... She's such a psychopath comedian that she fucking hates everybody, and she's like, oh no, oh no, oh god.
They did give us Jamie Lee Curtis cleavage.
That's true.
Yeah, thank goodness.
They did
We all
have-
wanted.
They did have like a shot of her yams for some reason.
Nothing against.
I was awake for that part.
Oh, I know you were.
I woke him right the
Danny
fuck up.
fucking went from closed eyes to awooga.
Honkers!
It was my favorite every time anything new happened, and they were like, oh wow, look at this place. And Claptrap would go, this is your house, right? And she's like, yes, this is my house. Thank you for noticing. Like, they announced every single thing that was
Yeah,
happening.
it feels like they thought the audience would actually be lobotomites, so anything that happens
Yeah.
gets like this in-depth explanation for what it
just-
means.
It just kind of hit me. I think this movie was made to be watched on a second monitor. It's made so that if you're sitting there and you never even a single time for an hour and a half go, huh?
Yeah, I feel like this criticism is often used for like video game movies of who is this movie for?
Yeah.
Legitimately nobody.
It legit felt like it was made for no one because it doesn't respect the source material whatsoever.
it is made-
And also like there's references that you would only get if you played the video game.
Yeah, and normal people wouldn't like this movie either.
I was gonna say it's made for one person and it's Randy Pitchford.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is they don't even do the thing where they do the rule of thirds because Marcus shows up. He's like, I'm the bus driver, and then he's like, I'm the guy selling guns,
And that's it.
And then he's like, I'm not in the movie original. Maybe that's the best joke, is they're like, there is no third time Marcus shows up.
Yeah.
It's just the two.
So it legitimately doesn't work on its own two legs. The movie, it doesn't know what to do. So, big spoiler, at the end of the film, General Knox is not the Knox from the games, and nothing is like it is in the games, but Knox, in the context of the film, is hunting the entire film.
You know what's crazy? I don't know who you're talking about.
Really?
I literally don't know
It
who
was,
you're talking
He also
about.
gets knocked out right away. For no reason.
Yeah.
Just to be like,
Yeah, the Crimson Lance girl.
yeah, the
That's
main.
so
No.
wild because
You were awake.
Yeah.
You were awake.
No, she's the one that pulls up when she first finds Tina. She's the one that pulls up on the bike and is like, "Hey, girl."
Is she the one that got shot right at the end?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
where she was like, wait a second, I gotta say. And it's
That's-
like,
and that's
she
right.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
She doesn't exist. She's not.
She
General Knox is a
comes and allies to
cyborg.
them for no reason. She's like, don't shoot, and then gets disintegrated.
The entire story
Yeah.
is General Knox is hunting them down.
Is the guys? Is Atlas goes, shoot? He goes, shoot those guys, kill them all, and then she goes, wait! And every single person. Well,
And they go, you're the general. They literally, like the
Yeah,
voice
they
goes,
say
you're
that.
the general, we listen to you.
He shoots. He says, "Shoot them, kill them all," and then none of them shoot for legitimately probably 5 seconds, and
Yeah.
then she goes, "Wait a minute," and then they continue to not shoot, and she walks up and she's like, "You're right, Roland. He's not right, really. He didn't do a single thing. We should," and then gets vaporized. Like it's. Everything that happens in this movie could be removed, and there would be no consequence to the rest of the story.
Remember when Roland sacrificed himself to
That's-
20,000 gun-wielding murderers and then just got up out from under their corpses? He's like, damn, it's a hard day of work. I'm so tired and sore
And
after
they
that.
had the gall. They had the absolute chutzpah to try and make it emotional.
I know. Like, why?
Well, and then the other thing too, the combat.
Oh, it's
Oh, the choreography was
so bad. It's like the shaky cam is on another
It
level.
was quick cuts to try to make you feel the action, which failed.
So what I was saying about like narratively, it doesn't work either. It's so disjointed. So like Nox at the very end, that she's been hunting them this whole movie, ruthless. There's no like indication she's turning or anything.
Nope.
And at the very end, she's like, "Everybody, fucking stop!" and then dies. Like nothing. And there's so many scenes in this movie that don't do anything.
The heroes face zero resistance the entire movie.
Yeah, no.
At all.
Like, things will come up, and even the final fight starts to happen, and then they just win. And then at the end of the movie, she puts the big shields up when she gets the powers, and they're like, haha, I can't be hurt. Then she gets blasted by a gun.
And then they still don't get
She
hurt.
headbutts a force
That
field.
was-
Yeah, she did it to herself.
Yeah.
She just flew. I was awake for that. She just flew forward and was like, "Whoops."
Well, and then everybody
Ragdoll
uses her
gets
special Destiny 2 shield power-ups,
And it didn't matter.
and
No.
just continues to fight as they did before.
Yeah.
They don't even say like, fuck,
Yeah,
I
well,
lost.
Kevin Hart literally goes, "Oh, well, that was fun while it lasted," and,
And then
then
keeps
nothing
going.
happened.
Yeah, he just keeps going.
we
Besides us, yeah.
Besides us, there was 2 people in that theater, and apparently no one's seeing this
And they
fucking
were
movie.
all back there with us, huddled up for warmth. Apparently, if you weren't within our proximity, we were all just gonna freeze.
I
know,
cannot
I'm
tell you
super
how many
open.
times during that movie you or I just went.
Yeah.
This
Why?
was always
What
happening.
loved though when the hologram popped up and she goes, "If you're seeing this," and
I'm already
I
dead.
went, "I'm already dead,"
Yep.
thinking they're not gonna say that, and she says that. I was like, "Why?
Yeah.
Like who wrote
It
this
was
shit?"
so
man?
stupid.
There's nothing. That's it. There's
That
nothing.
is seriously
There's
there's
nothing.
nothing
When I
to
went
like
to
in
the
that.
bathroom, I had to pee, I thought. And then I stood there and it took a few seconds for the stream to start and I was like, I think my body was just like
Get me
faking
out.
the reaction.
Yeah.
So I had to leave.
We can go around the room. I'd probably give it like a 12%-ish, somewhere in that ballpark out of 100%.
I'm truly gonna go 0. You're wasting money if you see that movie.
I need you guys to understand how many shitty movies I go see with Charlie. This is the worst movie I've ever seen. It is a 0. It is worse than Moonfall.
Yeah, it had the gun, the infinity, so 1.
Okay.
This has tainted my love for the franchise. This
it
will be a
has.
stain in my brain for the rest of my life. I hope this is not the last thing I think about before I die.
Percentage.
0. Did you need one?
0.5.
I don't think I can give one because I fell asleep.
No, give one from the moments you were lucid.
The points are lucid. If it's 0, it's too high.
Yeah, I did it. I went where no one should go. I watched the first 2 episodes of Velma. I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what any man would do in my position to protect the people he cares about. You. What I've just done today, this brave stunt, is basically diving on a live grenade in order to shield you from the unbearable, insufferable cringe of this show. Don't be deceived by this propaganda that's floating all around Twitter, where they're wiggling their finger or twirling their shirts over their head celebrating that Velma had the biggest premiere day for an HBO Max original animated series. Don't be fooled here. Don't let the devil pull the wool over your eyes here. This is a little Jedi mind trick here. The reason this had the biggest premiere for an animated show on HBO Max is because it's the only animated show left on HBO Max. They canceled every other cartoon they've ever fucking had, pretty much. It's been a huge controversy over the last, 6 months. They don't have animated shows left. Thus, this is the only one, so of course it's going to be the biggest premiere. This accolade is completely meaningless. It's like me proudly proclaiming that I have the largest wiener in this house right now, because I'm the only fucking person in this house. There's no competition. It doesn't hold any weight. Just because Velma had the biggest premiere for an animated show means absolutely nothing when there is no other animated shows on HBO Max that it competes with. So I don't think the show is popular for what it's worth, but I don't think I'm alone in being a hate watcher of it. I watched it knowing full well I probably wasn't going to like it. I was super open to being pleasantly surprised, but that didn't happen. In fact, the first 2 episodes are worse than I expected from watching the trailer. I was very generous and gave the smallest chance that perhaps the trailer only highlighted the show's stinkiest moments, but I was very, very wrong. The show is stinkier than 3 garbage trucks having sex in a sulfur factory. It is fucking terrible. And I'd like to go over some of it right now. So I've watched the first 2 episodes. I, of course, can't show any clips from it for obvious reasons, so I'm just gonna have to paint a picture of the things that I witnessed, the atrocities, the fucking torture. Obviously, this is all my opinion, but I do think you can make an argument that it's factual because everyone seems to hate this show, even critics. So I think this is just one of those, like, unifying moments where everyone comes together to hate something equally because the show is just that awful. Now, I will say, I do think a lot of this was actually written by ChatGPT. A lot of these jokes feel AI generated, and one thing that stayed consistent from episode 1 and episode 2 is they used the same joke formula at least 50 fucking times, and I'm not exaggerating. When they didn't know what kind of joke to make or how to inject humor into a situation when they were going over their quota for bad jokes to fucking ham-fist in here, they'd always fall back on the tried and true getting meta with its comedy. So they'll say things like, oh, this is that part in rom-com shows where we're supposed to kiss, but this isn't a rom-com show, so we shouldn't kiss, but if it was rom-com, we'd like totally kiss right now. Or in the very first episode, they pulled like a full-blown Big Mouth here where they just have like asses of these high school like 15-year-olds or whatever just all over the place in the showers, and they're talking about like, don't you ever find it weird how in like rom-com shows they really put a lot of gratuitous nudity and sexual references in their first episode, but then it kind of dwindles off and it's not indicative of the rest of the show? That's so weird, right? As their like asses are all over the place, it's supposed to be like really meta, like haha, oh, they're in on the joke, haha, yeah, shows do that. It's so fucking tiresome and gets really, really grating. It's not just like a bad joke, but it's a joke that's so bad and used so many times that it just begins to get like frustrating to hear. Which is kind of like an irrational response to hearing a bad joke, and I get that. But like after the 50th fucking time of me hearing them set up that same thing of like, well, this is actually just like in that movie where I'm supposed to solve this mystery, but that movie had a weird ending, so I'm hoping that here that won't happen because, I mean, it's not a movie. It's just, I can't stand it. And they do it so often. Now, setting aside just like that series of bad jokes, every joke in here isn't good. And it's not even close. I don't even think they tried to make good humor here. I don't really know what they tried to accomplish, but it's all over the place. So, first of all, they made Velma the most unlikable character in the show. She's like a genuine douchebag, like a huge asshole. She judges everyone, she's rude to everyone, she insults everyone, she's mean to literally everyone. Norville, who's supposed to be the equivalent of Shaggy in here, like, just confesses to Velma like he has feelings for her, and she laughs in his face, calling him like a fucking comedian loser because she'd never actually have any feelings for him. He's such an unlovable, unlikable loser. It's so humorous that he'd even pretend that he has a chance with her. So she just keeps laughing in his face about how it was such like a side-splitting, gut-busting joke that he has feelings for her because she just looks at him like a brother and nothing else. So it's so laughable that he'd actually feel that way. It's hard to like her in any capacity. She is like the actual embodiment of just the worst character. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if they're gonna like try and evolve her to be more likable as the show goes on. It kind of like hints that that's the direction they're going, but that's still a stupid direction to take it. You took the Scooby-Doo IP and borrowed the characters' names, and you didn't even bring Scooby with you, which I actually think is for the best now. After watching the first 2 episodes, I'm glad they took Scooby behind the barn and put him down because he did not deserve this. This is a fate worse than death. So I'm happy he's not here to be absolutely fucking ruined here. But they took the character names. They have Velma here, and they've made her fucking insufferable. Why? It's not a fun character arc to follow this person become less insufferable as she learns to stop being a judgmental piece of shit. But the crazy thing is, I wouldn't even care about the direction they took Velma if they just made her entertaining. Like, if she could just make me laugh. But she couldn't. I started sweating from how much I wasn't laughing. Like, my body knew this was supposed to be a comedy going into it, but there wasn't any ha-has. Everything out of Velma's mouth is just rude. And almost everything she says is about a person's skin color or, like, their occupation or what they're going through, like hardships, and shitting on them for it. She is just unlikable. Like a character you can never root for in any capacity. It really feels like half the ideas they had for this show are just like the worst ideas you and your friends would have had 15 years ago. Like, what if Velma was dealing drugs? And then it's in the show. Yeah, there's like a whole big arc of her dealing drugs poorly. And then at the end of the second episode, her and Daphne start making out, even though they've just been shitting on each other the entire show so far. But then they start making out. So that's pretty hype, I guess. The whole thing with this show is I really feel like all of it was so lazily thrown together. There's clearly not a whole lot of passion behind it, and it really feels like there's a deep-seated hatred of the Scooby-Doo IP in general here with what they're doing to this thing. It's just bad. But if you are a tiny dick joke enthusiast, man, do I have some good news for you. You're going to get a lot of bang out of your buck from this show, a lot of mileage from that, because there are so many jokes about Fred having a tiny penis, and every time it makes you just slap your knee with a big old smile on your face because it's so good. I'm also being a bit fast and loose with the definition of a joke here because they don't actually make jokes about Fred's small cock. They just say that he has a small cock often. There's not like a joke attached to it. They're just like, oh yeah, and then Fred has a small wiener. And that's it. Like there's nothing more to it. It becomes like a plot point like Fred has a small wiener so he might have killed one of the girls because she might have seen his small penis. And that's the joke. After having watched the available episodes, I once again have to wonder, who is this for? I just can't imagine any audience that would sit down and actually have a hoot and a holler watching this show. It doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't make you laugh. It isn't enjoyable. Doesn't have a good story. Doesn't have good writing or characters. There's no characters that you could even possibly like in the show. It's all just so flat, boring, and if it's not just boring, it's just infuriating to watch because it just keeps repeating the same fucking shit over and over again throughout 2 episodes. Like, I don't understand how they thought that was a good idea. Even if you go into this a huge fan of that style of writing where it's like, well, this is the part in rom-coms where this happens. Oh, this reminds me of that rom-com where that happened. Even if you love that style of writing, they do it so much in here that by the end of it, I have to imagine you're going to hate it. It's just not good at all. So early moist meter is looking like a 10% here, but we'll see how the rest of the series goes. That's about it. See ya. This is going to be the most embarrassing thing I've ever admitted to in a video. I've had no problem over the last 14 years talking about it. Times I've sucked my own dick when I used to rub my own hand in my asshole just to smell it when I was younger. I talked about tons of embarrassing shit, but this right here is on a whole nother level, and it's genuinely painful for me to say this, but I've fucking sinned. I tried to watch Cuties. I say tried to watch because I only got through about 30 minutes before I turned it off. It is beyond repulsive. It is absolutely disgusting. The fact that Cuties is on Netflix is nothing shy of a crime in my opinion. It is actual softcore child porn. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. I made that video talking about how maybe Netflix marketing just fucked it up and it's really not a movie that sexualizes kids, but it's significantly worse than I thought it would be, and according to every other YouTuber I've now watched, it is significantly worse than they thought it would be. And I cannot even begin to describe how fucking baffled I am that anyone defends this movie. The fact that this has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes tells me that everyone that left that a positive review needs to be investigated ASAP. Fucking Jeffrey Epstein's ghost has come back from the grave to pay reviewers or something to give this positive reviews. I don't get it. In all possible definitions, this movie is an entire movie sexualizing children. I understand that the point of the movie is supposed to make you uncomfortable with the subject matter of kids being sexualized. It's supposed to speak out against how it's a terrible thing, but it's so poorly conveyed that they've just ended up making a movie that hypersexualizes kids. There's so much ass shaking, so much ass touching from the girls, ass slapping, and it's just fucking disgusting. And the camera operator, I don't know who's working the camera for this movie. It must be Dan Schneider, because the camera operator's like going up each girl's ass crack, going like right up for a colonoscopy. When they spread their legs, he like fucking speed runs over there to get the camera as close as possible. And again, these are actual children actresses. These aren't adults playing kids. These are actual 11, 12-year-olds. They're children doing these disgusting fucking things. One of the worst ones, and this is, I can't even believe that this is allowed to be in the movie. One of the 11-year-old girls is in a tank top and panties, and then she's getting an exorcism where they're throwing water on her, and she's wearing a white shirt. So it's just a fucking wet t-shirt contest where then she breaks out into a fucking twerking frenzy because they've exorcised the demon of ass shaking. So then she's just like fucking twerking madly while fucking being splashed with water. It is unbelievable how anyone will try and defend this movie. Leave it to Twitter to make pedophilia a political issue. I don't think anyone on any side of the political spectrum should be advocating for a movie like this to exist. It does nothing to speak out against the sexualization of children and only contributes to the problem. Let me show you a review from a YouTuber who watched this movie, and let me show you what their takeaway was.
And they're pretty hot. And you know, you can say whatever you want about me. It's not my fault. I didn't make them do that. They did that. That's the point. That's the whole point of the movie, is that you're supposed to be sitting there thinking, look at the blonde one. You're supposed to be sitting there holding these two thoughts in your head, and one, that these are kids, and the other, that they're hot.
That's the message that people are walking away from the movie with. Pedophiles with the biggest smile on their face, pumping their fists in the air. Thanks, Netflix. Just for easily accessible fucking softcore child porn. It's unbelievable. You can't defend this movie, and if you're defending this movie, you haven't seen it, and if you have seen it and are defending it, you might be a pedophile. It's as simple as that. There's nothing artistic about it. There is so much ass shaking, so much camera shots of just ass shaking, fucking wet t-shirt contest. There's a scene where one of the girls actually distributes child porn. She takes a picture of her fucking vagina in the bathroom and just drops it online. And also that review, I already know people are gonna be like, Charlie, that's obviously satire. Well, it's fucking not. I actually wanted to make sure it wasn't satire. The guy's defending it in his comments. He went on a live stream after this came out to defend his point again. This guy is very serious about it. He wasn't doing some kind of satirical take on Cuties. Also, Tiana just overheard me talking about all this, and I just had to admit right to her face, look her in the eyes, and tell her, look, I watched like 30-40 minutes of Cuties, and I swear to God, she probably would have been less grossed out if I told her I made out with her mother. I understand, it's very clear why she'd be grossed out that I watched this movie. I should have just taken people's word for it, but I just assumed maybe they were exaggerating for views, but it really is about as bad as you'd expect and significantly worse. And, you know, she probably thinks less of me now, which is understandable. I get that. It does absolutely nothing to deliver the message that sexualizing kids is bad. It delivers that message about as well as Madden 21 delivering the message that football is dangerous. It is an entire movie that sexualizes kids for the entire runtime. It is absolutely absurd. A bunch of YouTubers like Paymoney, Webby, Elvis the Alien, they've made good videos talking about it, and yet I still gave the movie a benefit of the doubt, like maybe this is exaggerated for the sake of a YouTube video, and somehow in the movie it speaks out against these things, but it doesn't. The movie, from what I saw of it, and again, I didn't finish it because there's no fucking way I'm finishing this movie. I'm already looking over my shoulder now for the authorities just for even seeing this fucking thing for 30 fucking minutes or however long it was. It has no actual message that speaks out against the sexualizing of kids. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. It almost feels like it's a movie that's apologetic to it and condones it because it's a whole movie dedicated to it. It's so fucking poorly done if it really is made by people that want to speak out against this. It is so poorly done. It's the worst execution of anything I've ever seen in media because it does the exact opposite and contributes to the problem that they wanted to fight against in the first place. It is truly fucking abhorrent. And for some fucking reason, Twitter being the cesspool that it is, somehow brings anime into this, talking about, well, why is Cuties such a big deal when anime has kids being sexualized? Well, first of all, anime is fake. Those like children lolly things, those fucking 900-year-old vampires that look like they're 4 years old, the little cum demons that have existed for 2 millennia, but they look like a 6-year-old, those aren't real people. They are animated fake things. These are actual 11 and 12-year-old girls that are subjected to this hypersexualization in this movie that the director has forced upon them. That's very different. This is real world versus totally fucking made up, drawn characters. It's not even comparable. If this movie wanted to deliver this message, and it is a good message, don't sexualize kids fucking obviously, they should have had adult actresses portraying younger characters. It's how every other production does it when they handle a subject matter as sensitive as this. They don't take real children and sexualize them. But yeah, anyway, this movie is worse than you probably even imagined it was. It's fucking deplorable. That's about it. So yeah. Hi, I bet you can't even tell that I have a mental illness. And that mental illness is called an addiction to bad movies. I can't help myself. I see every new horror movie that comes out. I've seen every single 2024 horror movie except for one. The one good one, apparently, which is Late Night with the Devil. I've seen every single other horror movie, and I double-checked. And I at this point I don't even know why. Like, I know they're going to be awful going into them, and you all know I love bad movies, but I also know going into most of these that they're not going to be so bad they're good. They're just going to be a genuine, complete waste of time. So you have to wonder, am I possessed by some kind of dog shit movie demon that just somehow deep in my soul compels me to go waste money and time to see these on the big screen? Today I subjected myself to The Exorcism starring Russell Crowe. This one was really interesting. Not the movie itself, that was the furthest thing from interesting, but the concept of this movie fascinated me because last year Russell Crowe was in a movie called The Pope's Exorcist, where he played another exorcist. So I thought this was like the extended Pope's Exorcist universe, but these two movies have no relation to one another. He played the same role twice. He said like King Neptune, that was so good I think I'll have it a second time. He fucking said, hey, where's second breakfast? I love playing the exorcist role. And at the end of The Pope's Exorcist, they set up like a Men in Black style universe where there's this group that goes and fights the demons that are possessing innocent humans. And it all happens in the shadows, behind closed doors, where God refuses to look. Well, I'm going a little far there, but basically they set it up as I'm assembling a team of elite exorcists. We gotta go kill all the demons. We gotta go fuck them in the face. So they conclude that movie with like this almost pseudo montage of like exorcists getting ready and setting up like a network to track possessions and all of that. I have expected Linkin Park's What I've Done to start playing, like the end of the Transformers movie when Optimus Prime makes a call out to the cosmos for more Autobots. I thought that was going to happen, but for exorcists. So this movie I went into really thinking that it tied into that universe. And can you believe my surprise when it turns out he's just playing the same role in a different way? And the movie's bad. But here's the really crazy thing. The whole movie's not bad. I actually thought almost the entire first half of the film was pretty decent. Like, it's not amazing by any means, but with all the slop that you get fed, like the fucking pigs we are in the movie theater seeing these horrible horror movies, it was at least a step above most of that. So the film's concept is they're filming a remake of the original Exorcist movie, which they treat like Voldemort. They don't name it, but they keep implying it, and they keep using the similar themes and scenes from the original Exorcist in a modernized way. So Russell Crowe gets the role of the Exorcist, who's going to perform the climactic final moment there. And he gets the role because the person prior to him got attacked by a demon on set and killed, and it led Russell Crowe, who was an actor struggling with alcoholism and drugs and just a really troubled past, to land this big position. And throughout the filming of the movie, more and more creepy, evil things keep happening as a demon has infiltrated Russell Crowe himself. And I actually really like the set here, where they have like this dollhouse, this open dollhouse that they're in filming the scenes, and Russell Crowe's struggling with the material, and the director's saying some really mean things to him, actually just talking shit like it's a League of Legends lobby, getting real toxic to try and bring out the best performance of him. His daughter also hates him because he's an alcoholic drug addict who abandoned her and her mother when the mother had cancer, and he was out apparently just getting high, getting drunk, and chasing pussy, as the director called it. So they set him up as like some irredeemable piece of shit who's doing everything he can to just get this last great performance in. Like, he really wants to nail this role, but just can't seem to do it. So as he's trying, he just keeps getting worse and worse. The demon infiltrates him deeper and deeper. And the performance from Russell Crowe is pretty good. Like, it actually seemed like he tried very hard in this role. The daughter's performance was really good too. Like, they actually tried to put their best foot forward for this movie, and it's such a shame that it all completely falls apart and wasn't worth trying for in the end. So, like I said, I do think the first half is at least decent. Like, I find it to be a compelling story that I haven't really seen before like this. It started off pretty self-aware, and then it completely lost that and fell into almost a parody of itself. But I will say, even in the first half, which is definitely the best part of the film, which I guess really ultimately isn't saying much. That's like saying the best part of a poop is when it comes out of your butt. It's like, okay, I guess. So, like, the first half, they still don't set up scares very well. They actually do build tension okay, but there's no real scare that happens or anything that ever comes from it with all the tension. They usually just take the cheapest way out with, like, the lamest jump scare ever, where it's just, like, a really quick, loud noise of something that just kind of appears out of nowhere. So, like, example, Russell Crowe's getting, like, possessed. The daughter sees him just kind of standing, like, sleepwalking. She goes up to him, and they just stand there staring, or she just stands there staring at him for a second while he's doing this. And then all of a sudden he snaps out of it going, and it's like, okay, I mean, I guess. Like, it was, they built up tension for, like, 3 straight minutes, only for that to be, like, the big payoff scare. And it's just very silly. Like, it's just, it just is. Like, that's silly. Like, you laugh at that, not go like, oh, geez, jeepers. No one goes like, zoinks, you got me with that. It's just, oh, okay, loud noise startled me. That's a really silly loud noise. There's also just a lot of things in this movie that they kind of set in place and then do nothing with. So, like, the director, he's clearly a bad guy. He is a villain saying some heinous shit to Russell Crowe's character, Anthony, and he gets nothing for it. Like, the demon gets very upset at him, but then does nothing to kill him or, like, you know, give him any level of, like, comeuppance or anything, even though they really set it up like that was going to happen. It just doesn't. There's also a romance plot with his daughter that also just doesn't go anywhere. Like, I guess the only reason it's there is to show that not everything in her life is terrible, but it doesn't lead to anything, and they end up abandoning the relationship subplot. So, I feel like at some point, apparently this movie went through a lot of delays. I feel at some point they just said, fuck it, we're going to Frankenstein this, we're going to cut something together the best we can and just send it. And it does feel that way. It's just very rushed, especially at the end. Also, Sam Worthington's in this movie. Huge actor. He has maybe 3 scenes. Why even bother putting him in this pile of shit? Like, maybe this is something he wanted to do because he was bored. He's like, oh, I see you guys are filming. Do you guys want me to do something with this? I mean, I've got like 3 hours to kill. You might, oh, okay, cool, yeah, you know, I'll come play that. Because he's actually on screen for maybe in total 45 seconds. And yet, in the beginning of the movie, they put his name there as like a prominent character. Like, I went in here under the impression like, oh, okay, maybe Sam Worthington's going to have a big role to play. He does not. Like, he has probably less screen time than I did in The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. It's weird. Like, why even bother paying that amount of money for an actor of that caliber and that size? Now, anyway, let's get to the meatballs of the spaghetti here. Let's talk about that final act of the film, the second half. Hoo-wee, yikes. So I've only really been talking about the first half here. The second half goes into the most generic horror movie I think I've seen all year. Like, it is actually so unbelievably generic, I have to wonder if they were laughing while filming it, just being like, man, this stinks, but we're getting paid for it. Just fucking run it. It does every possible cliche as quickly as possible. So Sam Worthington's character I mentioned, well, when Russell Crowe's character is getting way too deep into the possession, he starts like puking and coughing, he can't even do his line reading anymore. Director eventually just says, look, Sam, his name's not Sam in the movie, I already forgot what his name is. I actually don't even know if they named him in this movie. They probably forgot. But he eventually comes up to him and says, look, Sam Worthington, listen, Anthony can't do this role anymore, we need you to take it. And he goes, okay, I guess I'll take it. And then the next scene after he takes it, he's practicing his lines in front of a mirror, and Russell Crowe blasts through the mirror, grabs him by the neck, and glass shoots into his eye, killing him. But whatever. So the 2 girls end up recruiting a priest, well, a former priest, who was actually like a consultant on the set of the film. And they've been kind of keeping him up to date on what's going on with Russell Crowe this entire time. And then he's like, okay, time to dust off this old suit here and perform an exorcism. So then the 3 of them go to the movie set and they confront Russell Crowe. He's got the priest in a trance, and he's got the daughter's girlfriend in a trance, and then he's just like playing like goofy little games with her. So like there's a Bible on the ground, and the daughter's walking up to the Bible, she goes to pick it up, and then it just magically fucking whips to the other side. So then she goes over and then picks it up. It's like that scene out of SpongeBob with the dollar bill, where they throw a dollar bill out and then like yank it back. That's what he's doing with the Bible. So he's quite the prankster, I suppose. His name was like Moloch or something, I forgot. And then she starts reading from the Bible, and then Russell Crowe sits there and he's like, "You don't believe those words, do you? I know you don't believe those words." And he just sits there like lecturing her, goes on like a monologue about why Russell Crowe's not worth saving. Why? Like, why are you even bothering to have this conversation? This is my biggest pet peeve about horror films, where like the evil demon entity gives the tools sometimes to the people fighting him. To, like, why? Why? Like, there's no self-preservation from the demons? What, they'd go through all this effort, this elaborate plan of possessing someone, and all of these steps, just to allow the good guys to get all of the necessary tools while they watch. Like, this demon could have killed all of them. Why put them in a trance? Why let her get the Bible? Why let them do that, and you just sit there watching and sometimes laughing and giving a stupid speech? It's ridiculously dumb. It just shows that the writers have no idea on how to have, like, the humans combat the demon here. So they just rush through it with this cliche formulaic dog shit. So, anyway, she starts reading from the Bible. He eventually goes over to her because it's not working, and he grabs her up, choking her, and then she puts a cross on his forehead, and he's like, "Ouch, oh, it burns," which snaps the other two out of their trance. And then eventually the priest is like, "Listen, take me instead. Give them Russell Crowe back." And the demon complies, so he then possesses the priest, and Russell Crowe snaps out of it. Russell Crowe then starts reading from the Bible, which bursts into flames, another classic horror movie trope. And he's like, "The Lord forsakes you, clearly. You're irredeemable trash is what you are." But then the tables start to turn as he starts reciting the prayers from memory, and then the two girls behind him are saying, "Amen!" And then the demon's like, "No!" screaming. And Russell Crowe keeps his foot on the gas, saying all the holy words, and the two girls behind him going, "Amen! Amen! Amen!" And the demon's going, "Ah!" just squirming around. And then it eventually culminates with Russell Crowe taking that crucifix, taking the cross, and stabbing the old guy in the head, fucking instantly killing him. But then he goes in for round two and then stabs him up through the neck, literally impaling this fucking guy, which then sets him on fire and burns his body to ashes. You didn't even beat the demon, you just killed this guy. Keep in mind, he was like, the priest was still there. Like, the demon was using his body as a vessel. They didn't just exorcise the demon, they murdered the man. In that case, you could have just called the police to come shoot him. It would have done the same thing. So they just fucking murder this guy, and that's their triumphant moment. It's so stupid. Like, the whole final act is so bad. It's so bad. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about this movie since I saw another trash horror film. It's not the worst horror movie of the year, but it's definitely a bad one. It's another absolutely horrible one to put into this very impressive 2024 for bad movies. That's really about it. So yeah. You're looking at a man who just wasted 2 hours watching the new Netflix urinal cake, Atlas. I'm not a happy camper. I didn't go into this expecting a modern masterpiece, but I expected to at least be entertained with some mindless sci-fi. And speaking of mindless, the audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes continue to make me sick to my stomach. How could 53% of people that suffered this torture actually enjoy it to any capacity? That's like being excited when you step on a rusty nail barefoot. It's just painful. It's a complete waste of 2 hours. And this is coming from someone who really appreciates bad films. I think there is this fine, beautiful line where a movie is objectively horrible and it is so bad that it becomes entertaining. Just absolutely immaculate, like Moonfall. But Atlas never crosses this so bad it's good line. The only line Atlas crosses is the one between my butt cheeks. It's shit. So let's go ahead and break this down and explain why this is yet another horrible Netflix original. But before I do that, because it's gonna get a little rambunctious here. I feel insulted, honestly, for having wasted this time on it. But before I really get into it and dive into the weeds, I want to once again just remind everyone that my GamerSupps Waifu Shaker Cup is only available for the next week or so, and then it'll never be sold again. So pick this puppy up at gamersupps.gg. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's the finest goblet you'll ever drink out of, I promise. Now, back to Atlas. This film stars Jennifer Lopez, and it's all about the nightmare of AI! It's all about AI going rogue and looking to exterminate humanity. It is the most generic plot you will ever see in a sci-fi film. This took every single cliche that has ever existed in this genre and rolled it into one unapologetic package that just stains the screen. Like, I feel my TV was weeping just having to show me this movie. Let me explain the plot to you. So, it's the future, and humanity has advanced so much that AI has become integral to our existence. They're in everything. And we have AI robot companions, and one of them, the super robot companion named Harland, he breaks the code. He goes against the programming, and he's able to do so for other AI as well, and he leads a rebellion, and he gets labeled the first AI terrorist. At the height of his infamy, he decides to shoot off into the cosmos. The explanation they give makes you believe that the humans were starting to rally and beat him, but multiple times throughout the film, they contradict that by saying Harland's never been this close to capture. This is our best chance we've ever had of beating Harland. So if that's the case, that means that Harland was winning on Earth. Why in the fuck, at his peak, would he just shoot off into space? So Buster saddles up and hops in a space shuttle and shoots off into the night sky to another planet in the galaxy. I mean, cool, I guess. And then the movie fast forwards 28 years later, and that's when we're introduced to Jennifer Lopez's character, Atlas. And she has a special connection to Harlan because her mother created him. And I'm going to get into spoilers, so be warned. Actually, you're welcome, not be warned. Me spoiling this film and saving you 2 hours, that should give me a fucking Medal of Honor. I'm doing a public service by spoiling it. So anyway, Harlan leaves to go get milk. He's spring breaking over in the Andromeda Galaxy at GR39. And he's cooking up a nefarious plan. And I'm just bringing out the biggest spoilers instantly because I wanted to spit when his motivation was revealed, because the whole movie builds up the mystery of, like, why does he want to kill humanity? Like, how did he break the programming and all of that? And it took, I'm not kidding you, it took the exact same story that has been told in 5,000 movies before this and just told it again the exact same way, and it doesn't even do it better or put its own unique spin on it. The reason Harlan turned on humanity and wanted to, like, fight us and kill us is because humans are detrimental to Earth. He scanned, and he saw the horrors humanity was capable of and that we would inevitably destroy ourselves and our planet. So the only thing he could do was exterminate half of our population in order to save us from ourselves and save the planet. Where have you heard that story before? Besides a million fucking times previously. It's ironic. A movie all about AI and, like, the dangers that can come from it was 100% written by AI. And I know that is a criticism that gets tossed around super often, but I am convinced in this case, this is the product of a large component of AI being used in its production. There's no other explanation. It doesn't even try. It actually takes, like, 1,000 sci-fi movies over the last 3 decades, boils them down to, like, the cliff notes of each of them, and puts it into this movie, and nothing different. It doesn't try any unique spin. It even has, like, futuristic Los Angeles, where all the buildings are, like, fucking spiral DNA helix shaped. Like, they're all loopy and rounded and, like, goofy, like Salvador Dali paintings. Like, the most generic idea of what future looks like. Future. It actually looks like Akon City in this movie. Like, I feel like they modeled, like, future Los Angeles after what Akon City was pitching. It's ridiculous. So, that's the big thing. Harlan wants to destroy us, to save us. He's actually the fucking hero. And Jennifer Lopez's character, Atlas, is the one that was responsible for him breaking the code, getting out of the Matrix. So what happened is, since her mother created him, they were basically like siblings, and she got jealous that Harlan was getting more attention from mommy than she was, so she went up to Harlan and said, I want to be more like you, and he's like, well, in order to do that, you're going to need to put on this earpiece and say the magic words abracadabra, so that way I can send data to you, and they can have a back and forth data transfer. So she's like, okay, so he gives her like this Bluetooth headset, which is what the Neuralink that they use to, you know, sync with their AI companions. And prior to this, no AI had ever been able to, like, go back and forth and break the code. But Atlas gives him permission, and he immediately takes it and has the mother grab a gun and shoot herself. So he overrides her motor functions since they were neural linked, and now that he can send data to her as opposed to just a one-way, he has her grab a gun and shoot herself. And then he decides to wage war against humanity. So, before I even get in any deeper than this, also a huge component of the movie is about Atlas learning to trust AI again after this betrayal. So she goes on this deep space mission to apprehend Harland, take his CPU back to Earth so they can study how things went wrong. And on the mission, things go tits up immediately, and she's forced into this mech suit. So now she's like the fucking Gundam pilot here, and she's having to bond with this AI who she has a deep hatred for and a mistrust because of Harland. And it's like this little buddy cop thing where they're teasing each other back and forth and learning to get along. But anyway, I'll get to that soon. When this plot point was revealed at the end of the movie about why Harland was doing what he was, the immediate question was raised in my noodle up here. Why the fuck did Harland flee Earth in the first place? Like, his plan revolved around getting Atlas to join this mission in deep space to bring him a ship with warheads, basically nuclear warheads, that would fry the atmosphere of Earth and exterminate so many of them. But they had this, like, defense force field around Earth that she had half of the code to and another guy had half the code to, so he needed to figure out this really deep, intricate plot to get them to deep space. So it starts with her capturing one of the AI on Earth who, like, gives up his location, but it was all part of Harland's plan. He was the puppet master. He was behind all of it. But the question becomes, why leave Earth in the first place if you had to wait 28 years to do this plan because it was so fucking difficult to get them to pursue you to this distant planet to give you a ship to come back to Earth to blow up Earth? Why not just stay on Earth and just use the fucking warheads there? Like, he made it so much more difficult for himself. And I don't, unless I missed it, like maybe I dozed off at some point when they explained why he left Earth for that plan. Because that plan is significantly easier if he's in the same fucking galaxy. Like, if he's in the same place, if he's still on Earth, he can get access to those weapons without ever needing a 28-year plan to get a ship out there with the weapons and then piloting the ship back to Earth, breaching the perimeter, and then blowing it up. You would already be within the fucking perimeter and you'd already have access to the weapons. Why would you even leave the planet in the first place? This is the dumbest AI terrorist of all time. Like, he's super stupid. He's super dumb. They made it seem like humanity was beating him on Earth, but they keep saying time and time again, trying to fucking drill it into your skull, that Harland is the chess master. And chess... I didn't even mean to make this bridge here, this fucking Neuralink. Chess also plays a role in this movie because Harland taught Atlas to play chess and then tells her, like, hey, when you put this earpiece on, it might hurt, so grip your favorite chess piece. So she grabs the chess piece, and then in, like, one of the earlier scenes in the film, she plays chess against AI and checkmates it. It was, whoa, that's fucking, jaw on the floor moment type thing. But anyway, Harland's like this unbeatable person. They've never even come close to capturing him until he's on the Andromeda GR39 planet. So again, they keep saying they've never been this close, which means on Earth, they weren't close. Why would he flee? His plan is much easier and would have been significantly more successful if he stayed on Earth to do it. Why the fuck would he take off into a spaceship? It's dumb. It's super dumb. But I don't want to focus on that too much, which I already have for quite a while. Now, what happened is, once they've tracked him to GR39 after, interrogating one of the AI fugitives on Earth, they send out this mission, and they have these giant mech suits, and Atlas, wants to go along because she hates Harland and needs to see him killed, and she feels responsible for him breaking the protocol and whatever. So as they get to GR39, because they have fucking faster than light travel, obviously, they get to GR39, and Harland was expecting them. So he blows up their ship, and all of the Rangers in their mech suits, they get slaughtered, and Jennifer Lopez was forced into her mech suit, and she doesn't want to sync with it because she doesn't trust AI. But she needs to trust AI because it's the only way she's going to survive. So she's traversing the planet in the mech suit, and most of the movie is spent just with her talking to the AI, doing almost fucking nothing. It's so boring. It's so lame. And it doesn't even try and do anything deep. It just tells the same story we've seen 1,000 times about, like, blurring the lines between what is and is not living. Can AI have a soul? Which is a conversation they have point blank. It's really on the nose. That's most of the movie. And so Atlas and Smith is the name of the AI. They just talk a lot, and they keep trying to formulate plans, and Smith is like, Tell me more about yourself, Atlas. It's the only way that we can reach 100% synchronization, because they can't fully sync because she won't let him fully in. And then there's like a couple of actions, well, there's one action scene that happens where she's getting ambushed by AI that Harland has there, and she detonates an ion bomb. It's really, like, I thought the action would be cooler than it was, because how can you fuck up having a mech suit? Like, just having mech action against AI soldiers, like, that's just a recipe for enjoyable, fucking shove popcorn in your mouth action. But they fumble it, they really do. So, like, the ion bomb goes off and they get vaporized, and that's, like, the whole scene. And then, again, it's her just kind of, like, scheming. Eventually she finds Harlan's base, and then we get to the final climactic moment where she 100% synchronizes by revealing the truth to the AI. After Harlan's about to go destroy all the humans on Earth, he says, fuck these cringe meat puppets, we gotta keep Earth safe from them. And then she busts free after reaching 100% synchronization with Smith, and then she gets back into Smith, and the two of them are this killing machine. And this is the only good sequence in the movie, the very end. So, Smith has 4 arms, and he's fucking dual-wielding pipes and knives. So he's got like akimbo knives on the right side, and then like dual pipes on the left side, and he just starts chopping up a bunch of AI soldiers, and it's actually cool. It's very reminiscent of like Titanfall kind of combat, and I appreciated that. The action was legitimately cool, and it made me even more upset because that could have been the bulk of the fucking movie. If you had just focused on it just being this mech on AI fucking kill fest action and not even bother trying to regurgitate the exact same sci-fi plots we've seen a million times, this could have been an enjoyable film. It absolutely could have. Like, I don't know who directed the fight scenes at the end, but they needed more freedom to, interject that throughout the rest of the movie. Because then there might have been something worth watching here, something of quality. And the final fight between Atlas and Harlan, like in the mech suit, was really good. Harlan was super cool with his fucking plasma sword, which he eventually turns into a plasma whip. It was great. Like, that was actually fun. Like, why wouldn't you have just put all your eggs in that basket and just made it a fun action movie, as opposed to just this slog of her learning to accept AI? Ugh, it's just such a waste of time. There is no reason to ever watch this movie. Like, even for background noise, you don't even get a lot of noise, you just get a lot of fucking ASMR talking between Jennifer Lopez and Smith AI. It's boring. Boring, damn it. There's plenty more things I can whine and moan about, but why even bother? The movie just sucks. Like, it's just so bad. It's not even really worth, like, fully breaking apart, to be honest. It's just, like, I can't even imagine who was excited to release it. Like, it does seem like Jennifer Lopez tried in her performance. It's not like her acting's bad or anything. She really did give her all when she had no material to work with here, like the flattest material ever. She did seem to really try to breathe life into it. So, I mean, props to her for that. But you can only turn dog shit into a different form of shit. And this film just doesn't have anything of value to it. I just don't know why they would even bother making it. There's nothing here that I feel like anyone in the writer's room or like the production staff would be like, yeah, that's good. Because it's all things everyone has seen so many times before, and they don't even really try with it. It's just a waste of time. I've said that like 5 times, but it actually is. So anyway, if I was to plug Atlas into the moist meter, I'd probably give it like a 20%, and that's only because that last action sequence does last for like 15 minutes. So you do get some meat with that action, and that's pretty good. So, like, I guess if you're really into, robot fighting action, you can just skip the whole movie, go to the last 15 minutes, and just appreciate that, I suppose. Like, let's say you're one of the people that bought Anthem because you love the concept of it, and Anthem was truly horrific, you could just go into this movie and watch the last 15 minutes and be like, oh, that was a nice little short. And that's probably the best way to experience Atlas. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya. A question I'm often asked is, what is the worst movie I've ever seen? I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of them real dog shitty. From about 2014 to early 2017, I watched every single horror movie that Netflix put on its catalog. Every single one, no exaggeration. So I've seen some truly abominable shit. I couldn't even tell you the name of half of these. I just have fragments of these movies in my brain, burned in my psyche, like some kind of fever dream. I'm basically the Library of Alexandria for awful horror movies if they ever went to Netflix. Like, I remember some bafflingly awful shit. There was this one movie that I'll never remember the name of. It was about some kids who took control of one of their parents' houses or something, and they stole their pool, and then one of their dads gets shot, and they're like, damn, I guess the pool's no good anymore. I guess we'll give the pool back, I think. Something like that. Maybe that made sense to someone out there. If you know what movie I'm talking about, feel free to let me know. But the point is, I've seen some awful garbage. So the other night on stream, I was asked again, what is my least favorite movie I've ever seen? And I've always had an answer. 2 movies. I say that they're tied for my least favorite movie. It's Superfast and Let's Be Evil. And that night on stream, I decided to pull up the trailer for Let's Be Evil, and it reminded me of just how truly terrible that movie was. So now I have a conclusive answer. My least favorite movie ever is Let's Be Evil. And I want to play you the stream clip real quick, and then after that I want to go over why it's the worst movie I've ever seen, because I recently tried to rewatch it. Least favorite movie of all time? It's probably still Superfast. Superfast or Let's Be Evil? No one's ever heard of this movie except for me. This movie was one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had watching something. And the worst part about Let's Be Evil is I fell asleep twice, and Tiana rewound it so that way I didn't miss anything. So it was just like the movie went on so much longer than the fucking runtime. The movie's about like these 3 babysitters that go to an underground bunker to babysit some very smart children, but the children aren't that smart. All they do is sit there and touch holograms, and then the babysitters go to sleep, and then eventually the children are evil, so they start hacking the holograms. And the babysitters get upset about that, and then the kids get upset at the babysitters. So then, like, they somehow start killing the babysitters through hacking. And then it's revealed at the end that the children chose the babysitters and they run the bunker. Like, it's so fucking dumb. Yeah, I take it back. I always say Superfast or this movie. This movie is so much worse than Superfast. Oh, it's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. When we watched this movie, like I said, I fell asleep and Tiana would rewind it so I didn't miss it. I honestly thought that night went on for days. Like, it felt like in Bleach when that dude poisons the guy to slow down time significantly. That's what this movie did to me. I didn't understand a single second of what I just saw. Yeah, because this movie, like, they wrote this movie with nothing in it. They had an idea. Let's get some babysitters and some kids. And that's as far as it went. And it's stretched across, like, how long is it? Like an hour and 30 minutes of excruciating agony. You'll watch that movie, an hour and 22 minutes will go by, and you'll have aged 2 years. It's fucking awful. My god. Which one of you asked me what my least favorite movie is? You've made me mad now. Now I had to remember this movie. I need to rewatch this. So, now I've tried to rewatch it. It didn't go very well. I couldn't finish it. This movie, I fell asleep during it again, and this time Tiana wasn't around to wake me up and rewind it. So I dozed off again. This movie is like actual hypnotism for me. I cannot stay awake during this fucking thing. If you're struggling with insomnia, put on Let's Be Evil. It might help you. And if Let's Be Evil doesn't help you fall asleep, try One Piece. That ought to do the trick. I'm 30 episodes in, and goddammit, it is boring. But the point is, I fell asleep about 40-ish minutes in. So then I had to fucking rewind it myself when I woke up in order to finish the goddamn movie. And it's awful. It's worse than I remembered it being. But my synopsis was right on the money. Basically, 3 babysitters go to watch some kids do this in the cafeteria. This is all the kids do. Like, half of the time the kids are on screen, they're just doing this with their hands because there's little holograms. They're all wearing these goofy glasses. The glasses look like the old 3D glasses you'd get at the movie theater, like when you went to go see Spy Kids 3D, so you just have these stupid, goofy glasses on. They look like the wind goggles that you put on dogs. Like if your dog likes to hang his head out the window, you put the goggles on them so they don't hurt their eyes. That's what it looks like. And somehow this movie cost $9.9 million to make. I can't believe it. Then there's also, of course, the AI companion, which I totally forgot about. They have like this little Cortana, and she's built into the augmented reality glasses that they're all forced to wear. Her name's Ariel. She looks like Chaos from the Sonic series, so like this liquid blob of fucking goo. And she's just like, hey, what's going on, pussies? I'm Ariel. I'm a robot. That's about all she really does. And then the whole movie's like, wow, augmented reality's kind of cool. One of the babysitters, his name's Darby, he's spinning a fucking teapot. He's like, whoa. Yeah, because the teapot's not real. It's a hologram. So he's spinning a teapot, and it's like it's crazy. And then eventually they're like, so we're here to save America. Like that's what they're working under, the assumption of like they're here to watch these kids because these kids are gonna save America. So they're being real patriotic. So it's like, okay, let's go watch the kids do this, and whatever. So they go do that. And then eventually the kids are like, hey, no siree, not on my watch. Gonna cut that shit out. So they start killing the babysitters. And then we finally reach the conclusion where it's revealed Cassandra, one of the children, chose the babysitters. So it was all part of their plan the whole time. They just were evil. So I've looked everywhere online for an explanation for what the fuck this movie was about. No one has any. Not even the most pretentious Redditors have any idea what the fuck went on in this movie, which is shocking. I've never seen that for any other movie ever. This movie is devoid of any and all meaning, purpose, and plot. There's no narrative. The dialogue between the characters is written like the AI in the movie fucking wrote it itself, with no understanding of how human beings communicate with each other. It is shocking. This movie is like if Attaway General tried to make a horror film. It's crazy. This is not a so bad it's good movie. This is the most boring movie I've ever watched, and I don't say that lightly. I would rather play through Death Stranding, start to finish, in one sitting without being allowed to sleep than sit through an hour and 22 minutes of this movie. And Death Stranding is a long fucking game. This is the first Strand-type movie. It is a battle just to stay awake watching this fucking thing. It is awful. Now, this isn't a popular movie, of course. I've never heard anyone mention this ever in the history of human language. I don't think anyone's ever recommended this movie out loud or even typed this in like a text message like, hey, let's watch Let's Be Evil. But there still were quite a few people that were commenting on it on YouTube, IMDb, Reddit, and all of them didn't like it for obvious reasons, but there were a few people I saw defending it. So I was just trying to figure out what they saw in the movie that I might have been missing, because I would have liked to get another perspective. Maybe they really fucking solved this Rubik's Cube of a movie and figured out what it was all about, but they didn't. They just said they liked the colors and the sound effects, or the theme song. So if that's the best compliment you can give to the movie, that the colors were cool and the theme song was great, you didn't do a good job with your movie. I'm sure all of you know by now I love watching shitty movies, I love playing shitty games, I love listening to shitty music, because I find all of it to be entertaining. This movie is not entertaining. There is nothing about this movie that crosses the so bad it's good threshold. It is insufferable. I can't express that enough. I've never had a movie that makes me angry to think about. Until now, this movie insults your time left on this planet. An hour and 22 minutes spent watching this would be better spent doing anything else. Hitting your shins with a hammer for an hour and 22 minutes is a more productive and less painful use of your time. At least then, your shins will start to become a bit stronger, kind of like how Muay Thai fighters kick down trees with their shins in order for the bones to be built up a little stronger. Like, that would be better than an hour and 22 minutes watching Let's Be Evil. It's so bad. So yeah, that's about it. That's the worst movie I've ever seen. So yeah.